Okay, so we're moving on to step 28 now, where we're going to produce our first of our reports and a query from our database. So there's several requirements here. We need to select only the records where the qualification code is PhD and the length is 4 or more. It should only show the fields subject, length, head of faculty and campus in that order. It should sort on both two fields, length in descending order and then subject in ascending order, page orientation, portrait, etc. Now, the most important thing with this is to figure out what you need to do in the query and what you need to do in the report. If it comes down to narrowing the data and actually filtering or sorting what you see, then that gets done in the query. If it comes down to what it looks like, the formatting, then that gets done in the report. So we'll start with our query. I'm going to go to create, we're going to go to query design, and we bring in both of our tables. And we can see the working relationship there. We'll bring in the 4 fields that we are required to see, which are subject, length, head of faculty, and campus. So I've just noticed that length hasn't been brought in, so I'm going to edit these down here. I'll just change this one to length because I want that to be included. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm actually going to close that and start again so that I can put them in the right order. Query design. And we'll do that again. So we had subject, length, head of faculty, and campus. And I do need to bring in a 5th criteria because I'm gonna filter based upon the qualification code should be PhD, but qualification code isn't going to appear in my list. So when I bring it in, I can do a criteria on it, but I want to untick the box to make sure that it doesn't get shown in the final report. I don't want it to be visible. But the criteria for this should be PhD, the qualification code, and the length should be greater than or equal to 4. And I can run it to test that that works, and that is working. Now the other thing I'm going to do here in the query is I'm going to add the sorts, because I can sort in the report, but I can only sort on one field in the report. And this particular instruction is asking me to sort on 2 fields. It asks me to sort the length to a descending order and then ascending order of subject. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to my filters here, and I'm going to go to the advanced ones, and I'm going to say apply filter or sort, or advanced filter sort rather. And I'm going to set up my advanced filter sort. So I'm going to say, first of all, you're going to sort by length, and then you're going to sort by subject. And length should be descending and subject should be ascending. And now back into advanced, and I'm going to apply that filter sort. And now I can see that my length is my first sort, which is descending from the largest to the smallest, and my subject has been sorted alphabetically within the criteria of each length. So that's exactly as I want it to be. So from this, we're going to go to create, and yes, save the query, and we'll give this the name report. So there we are. It should be fitting on one portrait page. So if I go into page setup, I can see I'm in portrait at the moment, but I'm a little bit over the page width. So I'm just going to change the width of some of my fields to ensure that I can fit everything in. So that's the first 5 bullet points done. It should include the heading extended doctoral options up at the top. So let's change that. French keyboard. There we go, extended doctoral options. And it should calculate the total number of subjects. in this selection and position this below the subject column. So if I scroll down, I think I'll probably find that it has automatically put a total number of subjects, because the automatic report usually does do an auto sum, but I want to add to this so that I can actually use the heading total subjects. So I'm just going to go into my design area here, and I'm going to pick up the label heading, which is this large capital A and the lowercase a. You can check what some of these headings are by just hovering over them, and it does appear underneath. So I'm going to add a label heading here, and my label heading is going to say, total subjects. So we now have total subjects, and we have the total number over here. And again, I'm just going to do some editing here, formatting to move that total number over to the left so it appears directly underneath where I want it. And I'm going to just make that column a little bit shorter. It'll put the text over 2 lines, but it doesn't require to be that wide. So everything should now be showing on a single page wide, so nothing should be over this particular line, and at the same time with all of the headings visible and everything as required. So we've calculated the total number of subjects, we've added the label. Now we have to add our name, centre number and candidate number onto the report. So we're going to do that in the reports footer. So in the home page of the report, I'm going to change the view, and currently you're in the layout view. Now you've got various views in reports. If you jump into design view, this is where you can change the footer for your name. So if you go to the page footer here, you want to pull this along into the left side of the page. There we go. And I'm leaving the equals and the speech marks, and I'm just going to add name, centre number and candidate number. And when I go back into the view, I can now see my heading, my report, and down at the bottom I'll have my name, centre number and candidate number and the total for the report. So at this point, this report will get printed, and I should be placing in my evidence document a screenshot showing the formula used to calculate the number of subjects. So the calculation of the number of subjects, or where I find this calculation, will be in the design view. I want to see the design view here, which is the count, and that's the formula that I want to use for the total number of subjects. And that's, if it doesn't automatically appear, it's simply one of these totals here. This is a count records, which allows you to count those. So I'm going to take a screenshot of that, pop that into my evidence document. Now I'm ready to go on to the next of my reports.